For most of her life, the Sigma female doesn't fully understand the complexity of how men think, feel, and express love. She observes, she listens, and she learns, but she rarely lets anyone close enough to truly influence her. Because of that, she often views relationships through independence alone, believing that strength means not needing anyone. But there comes a moment when something shifts. She gains a new understanding of men that changes everything. It doesn't happen through heartbreak or through someone teaching her a lesson. It happens through awareness, through quiet observation and maturity. She begins to see that love, partnership, and connection are not about control or dependency. They are about reflection and alignment. The Sigma female is naturally self-reliant. She builds her life from discipline, pardic, and independence. But when she begins to understand men in a deeper way, her entire approach to relationships changes. She no longer feels the need to compete, prove, or protect herself constantly. Instead, she begins to see relationships as spaces where strength and vulnerability can coexist. This realization transforms how she interacts with men. She stops chasing ideals and starts observing truth. She no longer judges men by what they say, but by how they live. She learns to appreciate actions, integrity, and peace over charm or noise. In this video, we'll explore 6 things the Sigma female eventually understands about men that shift her entire world. These are not small insights. They redefine how she views connection, power, and love itself. Thing number 1, he's not here to complete you. He's here to complement you. For a long time, the Sigma female believes that being self-sufficient means never needing anyone. She builds her own stability, manages her emotions, and thrives in solitude. She becomes so comfortable standing alone that she almost forgets what partnership can mean. But eventually, she learns something powerful. A healthy man isn't there to complete her. He's there to complement her. She realizes that true independence doesn't mean isolation. It means choosing connection without losing herself in it. When she understands this, her guard begins to soften. She no longer views relationships as potential threats to her freedom, but as opportunities for growth. The Sigma female starts to see that love doesn't have to be dependency. A strong man doesn't take her power. He reflects it back to her. He supports her without trying to lead her, and she allows him to stand beside her, not behind or ahead. This is a balance she didn't always believe possible. Before this realization, she may have attracted people who wanted to control her strength or felt threatened by it. But now, she begins to attract men who appreciate it. She learns that a partner who complements her doesn't compete with her, he aligns with her. This understanding brings peace. She no longer looks for someone to make her whole, because she already is whole. Instead, she looks for someone whose energy matches her own, someone who enhances her life instead of filling a void. This shift changes how she approaches every interaction. She's not testing or proving anything anymore. She's observing, seeing who can meet her where she is without demanding that she shrink or change. And once she feels that kind of balanced connection, she never goes back to anything less. Thing number 2, his actions tell more than his words. The Sigma female is naturally analytical. She pays attention to patterns and behavior more than she listens to promises. But when she finally understands men on a deeper level, this awareness sharpens even more. She realizes that words are easy, actions are everything. At first, like most people, she may have been drawn to charm, intelligence, and confidence. She appreciated men who knew how to communicate well or show affection through words. But over time, she learns that talk without consistency is empty. A man can say all the right things, but if his actions don't align, it means nothing. This understanding becomes one of her biggest strengths. When a man tells her who he is, she doesn't just listen, she watches. If he says he respects her time, she observes whether he keeps it. If he says he's honest, she notices how he behaves when no one's watching. Her awareness exposes truth faster than words ever could. Men who rely on manipulation or performance can't last around her because she's too observant to be fooled. She notices tone, timing, and effort, the things most people ignore. When she reaches this stage, she no longer argues or asks for reassurance. If a man's actions contradict his words, she simply distances herself. She doesn't fight for clarity because she already has it. This calm confidence changes how men respond to her. Those who are genuine find her refreshing because she values substance over show. Those who aren't sincere find her intimidating because they can't hide behind charm. By focusing on actions, the Sigma female redefines what connection means. She learns that love isn't spoken, it's demonstrated. And once she experiences a man whose behavior matches his words, she realizes that's the only kind of love worth having. Thing number 3, his respect for your boundaries reflects his value for you. The Sigma female doesn't set boundaries to test anyone. She sets them to protect her peace. For a long time, she believed that boundaries might scare people away. That being too direct, too private, or too selective could make her difficult to love. But once she begins to truly understand men, she realizes something that changes everything. The right man will never be intimidated by her boundaries. He'll respect them because he respects her. This understanding transforms how she relates to men. She stops softening herself to make others comfortable. She stops apologizing for needing space, time, or clarity. She begins to see that the men who get frustrated by her boundaries were never ready to value her in the first place. When she says no, she means it, and she watches carefully how a man reacts to that no. If he pushes back, argues, or tries to guilt her, she knows he's not emotionally mature. If he accepts her boundaries calmly, that tells her everything she needs to know. His response reveals his level of self-respect as much as his respect for her. Boundaries become her filter. They reveal who's capable of real connection and who's just interested in control. The Sigma female learns that love without respect is chaos. And respect isn't proven through words. It's proven through restraint, through how a man behaves when he's told to wait, when he's told no, or when she needs silence. This realization changes how she values men. She no longer admires the loud, persistent type who tries to win her over. She admires the quiet man who understands that her space is sacred. The one who doesn't chase but stays steady. The one who knows that freedom builds trust and control destroys it. Once she recognizes this, she never confuses persistence with love again. She starts choosing men who protect her peace, not those who challenge it. That's when her relationships begin to feel natural instead of draining, because now they're built on respect, not pressure. Thing number 4, he's not here to fix you. He's here to walk beside you. For much of her life, the Sigma female takes pride in being strong. She fixes her problems alone, builds her success alone, and heals alone. This independence becomes her armor, and it protects her well. But it also makes her cautious about letting anyone close. She assumes that men either want to save her or depend on her. Both options feel heavy, so she stays alone. But one day, something shifts. She meets a man who doesn't try to fix her or rely on her. He simply walks beside her. And in that moment, she realizes that healthy love doesn't come from saving or being saved. It comes from sharing the journey. When she understands this, her perspective on men changes completely. She no longer feels pressure to carry everything on her own. She realizes that partnership doesn't weaken her independence, it enhances it. The right man doesn't take away her control. He gives her room to breathe. This type of man doesn't interrupt her process. He doesn't tell her what to do, and he doesn't disappear when she's strong. Instead, he supports her quietly, showing consistency rather than control. That's the kind of stability she can trust. Before this realization, the Sigma female may have mistaken love for emotional intensity, the kind that feels like rescue or chaos. Now she recognizes that real love feels steady, not dramatic. It doesn't demand that she change or depend on someone else. It meets her where she already stands. She begins to understand that men, too, have their own wounds and fears. She no longer sees them as protectors or threats. She sees them as humans, equal in strength and vulnerability. And because she no longer expects a man to fix her, she finally creates space for love that grows naturally, without imbalance. This insight is powerful. It replaces tension with trust and turns relationships into partnerships. She learns that she can be strong and still supported, independent and still loved. Thing number 5, his purpose aligning with yours, trumps any shared chemistry. The Sigma female is passionate, deep, and intuitive. When she connects with someone, the energy can be magnetic. But as she matures and gains wisdom about men, she realizes that chemistry alone isn't enough. The real test of compatibility is purpose, whether two people are walking in the same direction. In her younger years, she might have been drawn to excitement, men who made her feel alive in the moment, who challenged or intrigued her. But over time, she learns that excitement without alignment burns out quickly. Attraction fades when values don't match. This realization changes everything about how she chooses the men. She stops asking, "Do we have chemistry?" and starts asking, "Do we share vision?" She understands that passion can start relationships, but purpose sustains them. When she meets a man who has his own sense of direction, not just goals, but values and principles, she feels grounded around him. She no longer needs to lead or correct him. Instead, she can walk beside him with mutual respect. His purpose doesn't need to mirror hers, but it must align with it. This shift also makes her more discerning. She can now tell the difference between confidence and control, ambition and arrogance. A man who knows his path doesn't need to dominate hers. He celebrates her success without insecurity, because he's secure in his own. The Sigma female's understanding of love deepens here. She realizes that connection isn't about constant contact, it's about direction. Two people walking parallel toward growth, both focused on becoming the best versions of themselves. Once she experiences this kind of partnership, she can never settle for less. She won't trade purpose for temporary attraction or peace for emotional highs. She chooses men whose lives enhance her own and whose presence feels like progress. This change in perspective turns her relationships into something real. Less about intensity, more about intention. Thing number 6, the right one doesn't control your freedom. He amplifies it. The Sigma female's independence has always been her foundation. She values her space, her freedom, and her ability to make her own choices. For most of her life, she assumes that love and freedom can't exist together, that relationships always require sacrifice. But when she truly understands men, everything changes. She realizes that the right man will never want to limit her freedom. He'll help her expand it. This realization transforms how she sees partnership. She understands that real love doesn't restrict, it supports. The right man doesn't feel threatened by her independence. He's inspired by it. Instead of trying to control her, he encourages her to grow, explore, and evolve. She starts to see that healthy masculinity doesn't compete with her strength. It coexists with it. A strong man doesn't need to cage a powerful woman. He knows that the more she thrives, the more their connection deepens. The Sigma female notices the difference immediately. Men who are insecure try to pull her back or question her choices. But men who are confident stand beside her as she moves forward. They don't demand attention, they earn respect. They understand that love built on control is temporary, but love built on freedom lasts. This understanding frees her from the old belief that she must shrink to be loved. She no longer hides her ambition, her curiosity, or her solitude to make someone else comfortable. She realizes that the right man will never ask her to choose between him and her growth. he'll want both to exist together. When she learns this, her energy changes. She no longer fears connection, she welcomes it. She doesn't view relationships as a loss of self, but as an opportunity to grow in new directions. The right man doesn't complete her, he expands her world. This is the final truth that changes everything for her. Once she understands that love and freedom can coexist, she stops settling for anything less. She becomes open but never dependent, loving but never controlled. And that's when she truly becomes unstoppable. For the Sigma female, understanding men is not about learning how to please them. It's about seeing clearly. It's about recognizing what real connection looks like and what it doesn't. These 6 realizations shift her entire experience of love and partnership. She stops expecting men to fill her emptiness because she no longer has any. She stops chasing words because she now values actions. She sets boundaries with confidence, no longer afraid of losing people who were never meant to stay. She learns that love isn't about rescue, it's about respect. It's not about chemistry, it's about alignment. And most importantly, it's not about control, it's about freedom. When she reaches this level of understanding, everything around her changes. The kind of men she attracts change. The kind of energy she keeps changes. And the kind of love she gives and receives transforms into something deeper, calmer, and far more real. The Sigma female doesn't lose herself in love. She finds more of herself through it. She realizes that connection doesn't weaken her strength, it amplifies it. And once she understands that, she stops living in defense and starts living in truth. Because for her, love isn't about being completed. It's about being seen, fully, freely, and without fear.